Hello everyone! Last week we began the story of Aethas, in which we talked about his efforts of getting his people back into Dalaran, as well as the events in the novel Tides of War, where the Horde marched upon Felo'melorn, Jaina was betrayed from within, and a mana bomb obliterated her city. At the end of the tale, she accepted the position of leader of the Kirin Tor, but she believed that this world cannot be safe, while Garrosh Hellscream is the leader of the Horde. She would be proven right, as during Mr. Pandaria, both the Alliance and Horde found a way to the land of Pandaria, where Garrosh went around searching for more power to add to the Horde's arsenal. His search eventually led him towards the Shah, a power which the Alliance outright rejected to use, but Garrosh fully embraced. The other leaders of the Horde, they were distancing themselves from the path chosen by the war chief, Vol'jin even going as far as speaking out and getting his throat sliced. Lor'themar is not happy with how the Orc is abusing his people. He wonders if the Mogul Empire fell to the Shah, to the Pandaren, or perhaps to their pride. During their search, they find a Mogul artifact, which Garrosh insisted they investigate. It's proving most difficult, as anyone who probes it magically is greatly affected by raw negative emotions. They've called in for the assistance of Archmage Aethas of the Sunreavers, in the hopes that he and Romav can crack this puzzle, while they also ask for Horde heroes to assist them in this, but Aethas believes that this experiment is a complete waste of time. The Mogul drew power by enslaving the living essence of other creatures. Is this something our war chief should be dabbling in? This is the same road Kil'ja's Sunstrider once walked, and it nearly destroyed their people. Why are we taking orders from someone who would have us walk that road again? Aethas wonders, but this experiment goes ahead as planned nonetheless. We adjust the disc, we open up the device, and from it spills forth concentrated Shah. It has an immediate effect on Aethas, who screams that the Cinderai, they must be free from the yoke of the Horde. Grabbed by his emotions, the Archmage strikes out, but we're able to knock some sense into him, and it appears that the Shah energy, it is far more powerful than they thought. Lor'themar then explains that the Cinderai were driven to the Horde by the bigotry and distrust of the Alliance.
Now, I look at our war chief, and I begin to see the very same racism. He is willing to throw away our lives for his agenda. Know this, I won't stand idle if the Horde interests conflict with those of my people. I may reconsider old alliances.
He may even reconsider old alliances, by which he means that he and Varian, they've been talking with each other about getting the Cinderai into the Alliance, but those plans, they would ultimately fail since Garrosh had something else in mind. Another artifact known as the Divine Bell has been discovered, and both factions go after it. The Horde to empower the war chief and their troops, while the Alliance wants to keep it for safekeeping and study. The Night Elves were the first ones to reach the bell, and together with Jaina's aid, they hid it away within Darnassus so that none can make use of it. The Horde eventually catches up to the spot where the bell used to be, and with her final breath, Serana Skyglaive mocks them.
Death means nothing. The Divine Bell is already in Darnassus. You filthy Horde will never have it.
Or at least that's what she thinks. It has taken a great deal of the Horde's effort to get us through Jaina's traps, but they were able to get us closer to where they've hidden the bell. Maintain their illusion this close to Darnassus, it's considerably expensive. Furthermore, the Sunreavers of Dalaran, they're risking their neutrality by assisting the Horde with this operation. In other words, they expect only the best from us as we infiltrate the city and we steal the bell for Garrosh. Now there's a piece of the story here that never made it into the game, but it has been confirmed by outside sources and even hinted at later on in the game. This bit of information is given by Sarah Pine, one of Blizzard writers. Where you were stealing the bell from Darnassus, Aethas was supposed to find your portal, follow you in, and go, "What are you doing here? You can't use Kirin resources for the war efforts." And the Orc you're with, he gets nose to nose with him and says, "You better decide where your loyalties lie, elf." And Aethas then slings back through the portal to Dalaran, saying that he saw nothing. We'll get back to this in just a moment. So Aethas, he was not actively working for Garrosh in stealing the Divine Bell, but he did find out about it and he looked the other way. Meanwhile, the players are able to secure the artifact and teleport it to Silvermoon, while Funlier Silverthorn, he will stay behind to clean up our tracks so that Proudmoore doesn't discover our involvement. Unfortunately, Proudmoore did discover what they had done, and she isn't pleased.
Oh, no, the bell! I had Darnassus locked down. Every fumbling rogue that tried to sneak into the city, I caught them. I snatched every two-bit charlatan that attempted to teleport through my tracks. They couldn't possibly have gotten through. This was an inside job. Somebody inside the city has the bell, unless... No. These portals connect to Dalaran. That means the Kirin Tor. My own Kirin Tor helped the Horde commit this atrocity. I will not be betrayed again. Those responsible for this will be punished. Aethas Sunreaver! You've betrayed the Kirin Tor, Sunreaver. You've allowed Garrosh to move his forces through my city.
You have it all wrong, Jaina. I did nothing.
You looked the other way. You and your insubordinate kind are no longer welcome here.
This is our city too, Proudmoore.
I see. I will remove the Sunreavers by force then. You, Aethas, will be coming with me.
Now there are some that want you to believe that the next quest given is you helping Jaina kill all the blood of civilians in Dalaran, but that's not exactly what happened. The Sunreavers in the city, they were given a choice. Compliant Sunreavers were sent to the Violet Hold, while the defiant ones, they were put to the sword. The Dragonhawk mounts that they keep at Crassus Landing, they're either put to sleep or put down. Varisa doesn't particularly care as long as they can no longer fly and no Sunreaver can escape. Then the quest, where we go into the Sunreaver Sanctuary, where by that time, Jaina will send the reasonable ones to the Violet Hole. The rest that refuse to leave, they are raising a weapon against us, so we show them the cost of their defiance. They now face the judgment of the Alliance, the Silver Covenant, and the Kirin Tor. This is a bloody day, and this is bloody work. But do not forget what the Sunreavers did to bring this on. They used neutral Kirin Tor resources to aid the Horde in their fight against the Alliance. Do not hesitate to believe that they would do the same to us, given the chance. Next to that, the Sunreavers in the sewer, they're rooted out, some of the shopkeepers are slain, and Brezel was spotted running off in the direction of the bank. It wasn't enough for him to be a coward and a backstabber, he had to be a greedy thief as well. That's the story as shown on the Alliance side of things, while the Horde go in a little bit differently. Nazgrim informs adventurers that the Night Elves learned that the Divine Bell was stolen. This much they had anticipated, however they also found out that the neutral Sunreavers of Dalaran, that they were complicit. Now we've got a situation, and we need to go to Dalaran to help out. In the sewers we find Romaf, who tells us to find as many citizens as we can, and tell them that it's not safe here. They must leave the city at once.
Salama Ashalanoi!
Jaina's gone over the edge. She's imprisoning the Sunreavers and attacking those who resist. What's worse, the Silver Covenant has seized the opportunity to join the bloodshed.
Things are much worse up ahead. The Silver Covenant is outright attacking innocent Sunreavers. This cannot stand. While our prime directive is to rescue Aethas, we must also protect as many Blood Elves as we can by slaying members of the Silver Covenant.
Death to all who oppose us!
It's chaos up there. We need to save whoever we can, and we'll need to move quickly.
As we go about searching for Aethas, we try to save as many Sunreavers as we can, and any pretense that the Kirin Tor might have had at being a neutral group, it can now officially be discarded, since Alliance troops are stowed away near Antonidas Memorial. They too will find us no easy prey, and we can save as many of the Sunreavers as we can, but it won't do us any good if we don't have any means of escaping. That's where the Dragonhawks come in, so we stop the High Elves from subduing and killing them, and then finally we find Aethas in the Citadel and we manage to set him free.
Aethas, this way, into the portal. Stay by my side.
Aethas, you're alive.
Thanks to this hero, a few of us made it out of there. Many more have been sent to the Violet Hold.
Anaralash Danal. Will someone tell me what is going on in Dalaran?
Proudmoore. She's gone and expelled the Sunreavers from the city. She's purging the Horde from the Kirin Tor.
She's gone too far. I'm certain the Alliance can move their war mages through the city at will. That human
Witch!
When will they learn? When will they see that the Horde exists because of the Alliance? Because of their prejudice and their bigotry? They force us ever closer to Hellscream's Horde.
My lord.
Alduran, summon the Rangers. Romath, assemble the Blood Magi and add the Sunreaver's strength to your own. We Sindori will take our future into our own hands. And get this damn thing out of my sight. Hellscream bought his treasure with the blood of my people. I hope it destroys him.
My lord, you would make a fine war chief.
It may come to that. Bring me my blades. The next move is mine.
Jaina, what's happening in Dalaran? Has there been an attack?
The Kirin Tor was betrayed from within. I've handled the situation.
How?
I've purged the Horde from Dalaran. You have what you wanted, Your Majesty. The Kirin Tor belongs to the Alliance.
But you said that...
I know what I said. My trust was misplaced.
What of the Sin'dorei? The Sunreavers?
Those that surrendered are being taken to the Violet Hold. I make no guarantees about those who chose to fight.
Jaina, you need to talk to me before you act.
How I run the Kirin Tor is my business.
I was trying to negotiate with the Sin'dorei. I was opening discussions to bring them into the Alliance. By attacking their people, you forced their hand!
They chose their own path.
You've driven them back to the Horde.
You're fooling yourself. Once Horde, always Horde. I see that now. I'm mobilizing the Kirin Tor.
Jaina, we've got to work together on this. The Alliance must act as one.
Don't get soft on me, Varian.
The idea of the Blood Elves joining the Alliance, that's been blown out of the water. The Kirin Tor, despite Jaina being hesitant before, it now officially joins the Alliance, but we still have the problem of the Divine Bell, which is now firmly in the hands of Garrosh. Luckily, Prince Anduin Rin was feeling suicidal, and he worked on a plan to stop the War Chief. He got the Harmonic Mallets, an ancient Pandaren artifact created to bring order to the chaos of the Divine Bell, putting a stop to Garrosh's plans. However, the War Chief wasn't too happy with the Prince.
Well.
Anduin would need some time to heal, while the Thunder King was resurrected by the Zandalari. On the Isle of Thunder, the Kirin Tor offensive, led by Jaina Proudmoore, and the Sunreaver onslaught, led by Lor'thmar Thrawn, they did their best to put a stop to the Thunder King's plans, while also fighting with each other. Step by step, we took more of the island, carved our way to the Throne of Thunder, and after weeks of fighting each other on the island, the final showdown was about to begin.
Lord Zu, the Alliance, the Horde, all chaos is about to erupt out here!
Oh, my children. Toshi, hand me my weapon.
My lord, you are gravely wounded.
My weapon! Champion, with me. I want you to see this.
Hand over the Archmage, and I may yet allow you to walk out of here, Lor'thmar.
Proudmoore, you will release my people from the Violet Hold, or I will cut you down myself.
Your people are legitimate prisoners of war. They orchestrated an attack on Darnassus from my city.
The Sunreavers knew nothing of Garrosh's raid on Darnassus.
Enough! There will be no more bloodshed today.
Aethas shifts uncomfortably as Lor'thmar assures Jaina that the Sunreavers knew nothing of Garrosh's raid on Darnassus. This is a remnant of the quest that was supposed to make it into the game, as we now know that at least Aethas was aware of what was going down in Darnassus. Jaina and Lor'thmar, they decide to step away from each other and focus on the real threats, the Thunder King and eventually Garrosh Hellscream. Powerful upgrades were found in the Throne of Thunder. Jaina had her Staff of Antonidas infused with the power of the Thunder King, while Lor'thmar got his hands on an Animus Golem, which they studied and reanimated, and the Blood Elves added the Blood Golems to their arsenal. Aethas was put in a task to take the best Archmages to study the device, and both Jaina and Lor'thmar, they planned to use their acquired power in the battle against Garrosh, since Vol'jin by this time, he had recovered and was ready to lead the Darkspell Rebellion into the siege of Orgrimmar. Garrosh had become an enemy to the world, and the Alliance and Horde teamed up to kick the War Chief out of the role as leader. Aethas joined Lor'thmar in the assault upon Bladefist Bay and the Galagras encounter, but during the siege of Orgrimmar, he doesn't play a major role. Garrosh is defeated, but instead of ending his life in that very moment, they decided to place him on trial. This then led into Warlords of Draenor, where Jaina still showed a clear hostility and unwillingness to work together with the Horde, whereas Khadgar, he is far more flexible and he doesn't have a problem working together.
Let us pass, Gatekeeper.
Lady Proudmoore has expressly forbid Horde from entering Kirin Tor grounds.
Then let Jaina take it up with me. I am a member of the Council, and you will let me and my friend pass.
Very well, Archmage. As you wish.
My tower lies just through this pass.
Then comes Legion, where alternate Gul'dan opens up the portal at the Tomb of Sargeras, and Khadgar decides that a change has to be made for the sake of the world.
Greetings, hero. Word has reached me of your efforts to push back against Legion invasion forces. I am reluctant to interrupt such important work. but I could use your help in a matter of diplomacy. I fear I am about to anger an old friend. Dalaran has been repositioned to defend the Eastern Kingdoms. You'll find it over Deadwind Pass, just above Karazhan. Please join me here.
The Mages of Dalaran, they have moved the great city to Deadwind Pass to have a better position while defending the Eastern Kingdoms. We're here to assist Khadgar as he tries to make Jaina see reason. They cannot fight both the Horde and the Legion at the same time. Azeroth will have to be united in the coming war, and for the Kirin Tor to fight at his full strength, the Horde must be allowed back into their ranks. Jaina is not having it. The Horde obliterated Felo'melorn. They left him to die on the broken shore. Again and again, the Horde has proven to be monsters, to be cowards. She will never let them back in. But Khadgar has made his case, and he respectfully asks the council to vote. Jaina warns them that if they let those vermin back into the city, she will not be counted amongst their ranks when they welcome them in. The council, against Jaina's wishes, they vote to let the Horde back in. Only Ancestral Runeweaver agrees with Jaina's views, and with that, she leaves the Kirin Tor behind, and Khadgar steps up as their leader, and he leads Dalaran to the broken shore. Mages are sent out to claim powerful artifacts for this war, and the Fire Mage is informed by Archmage Modera that they've come across a lead on a weapon that could significantly aid our fight against the Legion.
My sources, well, unable to join us within the city. I ask that you meet with me at the crater of Dalaran's foundation in Hillsbrad. Due to the sensitive nature of this matter, I must ask for your discretion. If you attempt to speak to me at any other location, I will disavow all knowledge of this message. I await your arrival.
It's Aethas Sunreaver that provides the information, which is why this couldn't happen within the city. However, the recent change of leadership, it does offer an opportunity.
Thank you both for meeting me in such an inhospitable location. I assure you that if I were able to meet you in Dalaran, I would.
The wounds inflicted by the Divine Bell incident run deep, Aethas. Others in the council are not as forgiving as I.
Precisely why I'm here. If I can't return to my former position, then perhaps the council would at least consider restoring my access to the city. As a show of good faith, I have information to offer.
I will bring your case before the others, but I cannot promise the outcome will be in your favor.
You have my thanks, friend.
Aethas sends us into Icecrown, where he believes we'll be able to find the powerful weapon Felo'melorn. Despite the Lich King not being too happy with our presence, he does allow us to try and take it from the previous intruder who came in search of plunder. Liander Sunstrider is now undead, but together with Aethas, we're able to overpower her and claim the weapon.
Enough of these games! This ends here. If you long for my blade so badly, then you shall have it! Awaken, Gullwing! Tear my foe asunder!
I'm with you, hero. I'll hold Liander at bay. Focus on destroying. She's trying to counter my spell.
Aethas!
I won't be able to hold her much
Dare
longer.
you?
Hurry!
Have you forgotten who I am?
I remember who you were,
This
but the
ends
creature before me
now!
now is but a walking corpse.
So cold.
All doubt has been banished. You are truly worthy of the blade. Claim your prize and leave, hero. The living have no place within my prison of ice.
An inglorious stain upon the Sunstrider name has been cleansed. Good work, hero.
Felo'melorn is now in our possession, and Aethas has proven to be a valuable ally. We join him in Dalaran as he pleads his case before the council.
Esteemed archmages of the council, may I present to you the bearer of Felo'melorn.
Be careful.
As you can see, our former colleague followed through on his promise of assistance. I trust you will take that into account as you consider his request to be allowed back in the city.
How do we know he won't betray the Kirin Tor once again?
If he wished to use the blade for his own ends, he would have simply given it to one of his Sunreavers. Aethas's actions appear to be genuine. I say we grant his request.
Very well. That's 2 in favor of allowing Aethas back into the city. Answerum, how do you vote?
Very well. I trust the wisdom of Carlane's council. I vote yes.
And what say the rest of you?
Yes, of course.
Then it is decided. Aethas Sunreaver, you are free to go. Do not misuse this opportunity given to you.
Aethas is allowed back into the city, but during his follower questline, we discover that a Sunreaver is responsible for sabotaging Dalaran's weapons. The corpse of the saboteur has been found with its soul drained, and since there are those on the council who strongly opposed allowing it back into the Kirin Tor in the first place, this gives them all the ammunition that they need to lobby for their expulsion yet again. If that would happen, their truce would shatter, and Azeroth would surely fall to the Legion. This means that we have to work together on getting our weapons back up and running without the news of the sabotage spreading. We go about finding the right components. We learned that Aethas was nearly raped by Harpies, but luckily was saved by a Nightborn, until eventually we're able to turn the Nightborn Soulstone, containing the Dreadlord Kafranatir, into a temporary fix for Dalaran's weaponry.
We must overcome the mistakes.
Though employing Kafranatir's prison to power Dalaran's defenses may not be a long-term solution, I am relieved that the demon's essence remains contained. Come, let us return to the Hall of the Guardian.
The events of the past have long weighed heavily upon Aethas, and while he does not regret his actions, he does regret what happened. If he could go back and change things, who knows, but he hopes that in time the Kirin Tor, indeed all of Azeroth, will better understand his loyalties. In gratitude, he offers his services and becomes a champion for the mage. That is where Aethas' story ends for the moment, an archmage that desperately tries to forge a good relationship between his people and Dalaran, yet outside influences, they seem to screw that over time and time again. To finish up this video, I wanted to reply to a few comments that I got on the follower video, since I said the following. This visitor is Aethas Sunreaver, once a member of the Council of Six who worked very hard on earning his people, the Sunreavers, a place within the city. During Mr. Pandaria, they were forced to work for Garrosh Hellscream, use Dalaran to steal the Divine Bell, which led into the Purge of Dalaran, where the Horde was kicked out of the city by Jaina Proudmoore. To this, I'm on deep set. Yo man, why are you so anti-Horde? It's funny you mentioned the Purge and paint Sunreaver as bad, and painted the Purge as it was okay. And that's the issue I have with Noble. He always justifies the Alliance and Jaina. You're right, Dalaran broke neutrality by helping the Alliance, just as Felo'melorn broke neutrality by invading the Barrens. She went from shop to shop, yelling and killing anyone. Majority of them had no idea what was going on, no warning, no nada. That is why it's called a Purge. I don't think I said anything factually wrong though. The Sunreavers were forced to work for Garrosh. They did use Dalaran to steal the Divine Bell, and this led into the Purge where the Horde was kicked out of the city by Jaina Proudmoore. However, I don't believe it's that black and white. Not all of the Sunreavers were bad, and not all of the Purge was okay. Patrick Johnson Good said, Noble, having a faction bias is the same as expressing political views. Don't do it. If you want to establish yourself further as a public figure and grow your channel, you can't say things like that. It alienates half of your potential subs. Hirumaret has been doing the same thing, and I don't think he has many patriotic Alliance viewers at all. I found this comment to be interesting since I don't believe you'll ever get information from a person without at least a little bit of bias in it, nor do I think that's a bad thing. I mean, I'm not running around yelling that all the Horde is evil and that all the Alliance is pure and holy. I just stated what happened. On top of that, when did having or expressing different opinions becomes such a scary thing that rather than entering in the debate and going into discussions and exchanging different viewpoints, why are people running away? I don't really get that. But that is why I like Crackalekin's comments so much. Now I won't be able to read all of them because the video is already quite lengthy, but he or she does make some really good points. Silvermoon Magi, Fenrir and the others you see, and one Sunreaver betrayed the Kirin Tor, and Sunreavers to circumnavigate Jaina's wards she put in place to help the Alliance keep the bell out of Horde hands. You can say it was to preserve peace and all, which I can understand, but it is by no means neutral of her to involve Dalaran in helping the Alliance. She did the same thing with Felo'melorn, helping the Alliance against the Horde all through Vanilla and Cataclysm, actively invading Durotar with her own troops in the Cataclysm, then acting like the Horde had no reason to attack Felo'melorn. It's only okay to break neutrality when Jaina does it on a grand scale, not when a Horde member is forced to do it because their entire race is held at gunpoint by Garrosh. About the whole being neutral bit, I think you have a fair point that there was definitely aid for the Alliance, especially with the movement of troops and whatnot, and the camp attacks and whatnot, but then again we also have to keep in mind that Jaina helped out both factions, right? There was also the support that she gave to Bane, Bloodhoof, and the Taurens retaking their city from Megafa Grimtotem and whatnot. I don't think anyone can say that Jaina was one faction or the other. She was not outright hatred towards the Horde, nor was she outright supportive to the Alliance. She worked on both sides, right? Does that mean she's she's neutral? No. Does that mean she worked both sides? I would say so. Now, when it comes to the attack of Felo'melorn, I actually don't believe that it was a bad thing. Technically, for the Horde, it was a very good thing. I just think that the way the attack went down, the dishonorable tactics once rejected by Garrosh, the way it was all executed, that's what I would say is the bad part about the attack on Felo'melorn. I have a similar view on the Purge of Dalaran. I don't believe that the Purge itself was a bad thing. In that moment, I don't believe that there were many other better solutions. Yet again, the execution of the Purge, like using the Silver Covenant, immediately striking out when uninformed citizens don't comply, I believe that's the bad part of it. Now, you're right about seeing Felo'melorn actively working with you to acquire the bell, but that doesn't mean that his actions don't have consequences for the entire faction. During the quest itself, we have Felo'melorn who says that the Sunreavers of Dalaran, they're risking their neutrality by assisting the Horde. We have Nazgrim who says that the neutral Sunreavers of Dalaran, that they were complicit, and then we have Bane in the novel War Crimes, who says that he knew that the betrayal of the Sunreavers in Dalaran, her new city, her new Felo'melorn, it had cut deeply. Many said it had catapulted her right back to where she was emotionally after Felo'melorn fell. And there have been rumors that she pushed Varian to actually dismantle the Horde. That's my take on the Purge of Dalaran as well. I sympathize and I can see that Aethas and the Sunreavers, that they were in a very difficult position where not going along with Garrosh, that could have severe consequences. Aethas was truly a Kirantor loyal, until he stumbled upon what Felo'melorn and us the players, let's be honest, were up to. The problem with finding out in such a clumsy way is that if he had gone straight to Jaina and told her what was going on, Garrosh would have known exactly who spilled the beans, which would have likely put a lot of Blood Elf lives in immediate danger. Because there's no way Garrosh would have let that go. And if Aethas said nothing, well, that's the option he chose, and we saw how that panned out. He chose to keep his mouth shut and outright lie to Jaina and deal with the consequences, which was Jaina decided to put the city under lockdown, make sure that nobody would escape, and kill anyone who resisted arrest. Is that a perfect solution? No, of course not, but I can understand why that choice was made. It wasn't like Jaina woke up one morning and said to herself, you know what, I'm going to murder some Blood Elves today. No, it was quite the opposite. Before the betrayal from within once again, she actively refused to throw in the Kirantor with the Alliance. Dalaran was used to keep the Divine Bell away from the Horde. They stored it away in Darnassus, which some argue is a bad thing, but wasn't Garrosh the ultimate bad guy of the expansion? Wasn't helping him get more power a bad thing? Something that the Horde itself was not happy about and only went along because they had no choice? And then, after constantly being warned that their neutrality, that their position in the city could be compromised by these actions, when they do get caught, it's suddenly all Jaina's fault. I imagine trying to lead a city and find out that you were betrayed from within once again, and last time you ended up with a mana bomb in your city, a mana bomb provided by the Blood Elves. Can you really expect a calm and reasonable solution, like getting the council together and talk things out? There was no way of knowing what was coming next. For all she knew, there was another bomb on its way to Dalaran, so the solution of kicking them out, it does not seem unreasonable.
You have it all wrong, Jaina. I did nothing.
You looked the other way. You and your insubordinate kind are no longer welcome here.
This is our city too, Proudmoore.
And then, when Aethas flat out refused to listen to the appointed leader of the Kirantor, the order was given to imprison them all, and those that chose to fight back, they were murdered.
I see. I will remove the Sunreavers by force then.
I can understand the mindset and the reasoning of that. Yet, like I said, I do agree that the Purge itself, handing over control to the Silver Covenant, who had just been waiting for an opportunity like this, yeah, that was not the best way to handle it. I can also understand the Sunreavers not willing to just surrender to the High Elves. If I was suddenly kicked out of my own home for no reason, I'd probably fight as well. At the end of the day, it's a grey situation and a matter of great discussions, which is kind of the sad part about these static videos. I can't instantly react to your comments, but I don't place the blame of the Purge on Jaina's shoulders. The quest all show that the Horde knew the risks of getting caught, and her actions are a reaction to what was done to her. I don't know, maybe I just have Jaina love goggles on that makes me see it all wrong. That's definitely a possibility, and if anything, I'm not trying to persuade any minds here, I'm just trying to explain my own. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of the video since I think we've been going on for long enough. As always, feel free to place your own take on things in the comments down below. And if you do like my videos and you want to be updated on new releases, make sure to hit the subscribe button. There are a couple of related videos on screen right now if you want to check them out. And until next time, guys, see ya!